Hi everyone, good evening to everyone who is watching us tonight. And this is our third day and the final day of our summit. So I would like to welcome everyone to this session. It's gonna be great, and I hope you all have your maybe your pens and your paper to take some points because it's gonna be great tonight. So you are all welcome to our summit, and this is the African Immersion Leaders Network Liberia Chapter Summit 2024. So I want to say you all are welcome. And let me remind you again last night from our leader from South Africa. And she said that we should use what we have. So I hope everyone are doing that research to know what she means. So you are all welcome. And it's gonna be great tonight because we have one powerful speaker from Africa who is going to speak to us tonight. So you are all welcome. And we have two speakers for tonight. So we can know and do things faster that everyone can fit in that time. So and tonight, not to waste your time, and our speaker for tonight, he is a multi-award winner and a leadership coach. He's a team building facilitator, speaker. He is an author. And our speaker, our speaker for tonight, he is the executive director for the Market Coaching and Consultancy International. And in this light, I could like to welcome on stage Master Coach Tendia Mortgage from Zimbabwe. You are welcome, sir.
cannot get it. All right. Good evening, everyone. Hope we are well. Hope we are good. Just confirming if everyone here can hear me. Maybe if you can just confirm, maybe to our host, can you just confirm if you can hear me? If you can hear me, please can someone just confirm that they can hear me clearly before I go any further? All right, super. All right, thank you very much. It seems like we are on board. All right, so thank you very much for this opportunity once again to be here. I would like to thank the Africa Leaders Emerging Network for having me here tonight. It's an honor, it's a privilege, and greetings from the nation of Zimbabwe. We are super excited to be on this conference today, and I'm super excited to be representing the nation of Zimbabwe. And thank you very much to the event organizers for organizing this amazing conference where we are bringing different young leaders from different nations to be part of this amazing conference. So yes, thank you to our ambassador and Mr. Precious and your team. Yes, thank you very much for giving us this honor and for organizing this amazing conference. So tonight, without wasting much time, what I'm just going to be doing is also I would like to acknowledge the speakers that spoke before me. They really shared with so much passion, with so much vigor, and I salute each and every one of them. I have been following from day one, and each speaker was amazing. So thank you very much to those amazing speakers. So today, I myself, I am Master Coach Tendai Mungati from the nation of Zimbabwe. I am a success and a leadership coach, also a team building coach and transformational speaker, and as well as an author of quite a number of books, some of them yet to be published, some of them have been self-published by myself. And I'm super excited to be speaking. And we run an organization called Mungati Coaching and Consultancy International, which is a coaching and consultancy firm, mostly working with individuals, leaders, and corporates here in Zimbabwe and across Africa and the world. Yes, we've been working, developing some programs for corporates, for leaders, and then so many other things. But today, the main reason why I'm here today is I want to speak to you. One of my job as a coach is to speak to people. I believe that Africa is changed by the people in it. The reason why Africa is where it is now is because of certain people, not anyone. I always tell people that. Whether we are complaining that things are good or things are bad, it's as a result of someone who did something. In our particular nations, it might be Liberia, it might be here in Zimbabwe where I'm at. There is someone behind it. And one of the key things that I always tell people as a coach, whenever I start engaging someone in a coaching session, I always tell them that, listen, the only person that is stopping you from becoming you is you. So I always tell people that the only person that is stopping Africa from becoming Africa is you. And today I'm here to address that person, you. I know most of you are surprised. So I'm going to be talking about some principles of how you can grow yourself. You know, we are talking about emerging as a leader. We are talking about going to the next level as a leader. But I always tell people that if Africa wants to go to the next level, it means that the people in Africa need to develop themselves so that they match the next level that they desire. I always tell people that success is ultimately related to the level at which you develop yourself. So the more success one requires to achieve, the more personal development they have to go through. So that's the simple message that I'm bringing here today. Does your personal development level match the dream that you have for Africa? Match the dream that you have at a personal level? It's a question I need you to ask yourself. So today I'm just going to be talking about simple principles of how you can grow yourself, how you can develop yourself as a young African leader, preparing yourself to become that emerging leader that Africa will benefit from in the next 10 years, in the next 2 years, in the next 15 years. You are that emerging leader. And I want you to type it out in the comment section there that I am an emerging leader. I am an emerging leader. I am a leader in Africa. You know what? It starts with you. Growth starts with you. The growth of Africa starts with you. It doesn't start with some government out there, some government official out there. We are the future. And the growth starts with us. So it starts with you. So few things that I want to mention and a few points that I want to mention about growth. Number one, growth. When you desire to grow, growth must be intentional. So when we say intentional, which means you need to have a plan, you need to have a vision. So the very first question I always ask people is that, what's your vision? Before we talk about the vision of Africa, what's your vision for your personal life? Where are you going? And then you're talking about emerging in Africa. Where are you as a leader going? Yeah. So growth works well when there is an intention, when there is a vision, where there is a plan. Scripture says this, that where there is no vision, the people are bound to perish. Some of us are already operating in perishing mode because there is no clear intention. How then can we grow Africa when at a personal level we are not able to grow ourselves? And that's what I always tell people at times: the greatest enemy to your success is you and your mindset. The thing between these two ears, is what is limiting you. And that's the greatest thing that is limiting Africa as well. So do you have an intention? What's your vision? What's your plan? How do you desire to grow yourself to become that emerging leader? I always tell people, even when I coach leaders, that you can tell me you are a leader and you've never even read one book on leadership. And you're talking about leading Africa. You can tell me you're a leader and you have not even attended one seminar to do something with leadership. Hey, that's a dangerous leader. As I said, success is directly related to the level at which you develop yourself. So as a leader, you need to be intentional. What's your vision? What's your plan? An interesting story. So at a certain point in time, an interesting story that I want to share with you guys. So at a certain point in time, President John F. Kennedy, I'm sure I'm getting it right here. So at a certain point in time, President John F. Kennedy sat down with his family. I think it's President John F. Kennedy. I think he was the 44th or something. I'm forgetting the exact numbers of when he was president of America. So he sat down and he came up with a world plan. And he developed a 75-year world plan. So this plan was saying that even after his death, for the next 75 years, no one in the John F. Kennedy family will test poverty. Right? No one in the John F. Kennedy family will test poverty. Right? That's intention. That's vision. And this is what then happened. Because of this intention that John F. Kennedy had, his children took it upon themselves and they said, you know what? Since our father has developed a 75-year world plan, let's stretch this plan to a 300 and world plan for our family. So now it's no longer a 75-year world plan. It's now a 350-year world plan. So for the next 350, no one in the John F. Kennedy family will test poverty. Think of it. A leader with vision. What is your intention as a leader? I'm telling you this story of John F. Kennedy to encourage you, to inspire you, that you know what, as a leader, you need to have an intention. You need to have a plan. So number two is, what are the areas you desire to grow? Yes. What are the areas you desire to grow for you to become that emerging leader? You need to have areas that you need to grow. What are those areas? Yes. What are those areas that you need to grow? Right. So, for example, I'm going to give you guys a practical example. So, I discovered my purpose and I discovered that I'm going to be doing this speaking thing, I think about I think it was 15 or so years ago. I was very young. I think I was 16. Then I started speaking. What did I do when I was 16 years old? So this is what I did when I was 16 years old. From 16 to age 19, I was in an incubation process. I was reading books. I was working on myself, developing my public speaking skills, reading as many books as I could. Why? Because I knew that the moment I'm going to get an opportunity to speak, I need to speak with confidence. I need to speak with vigor. I need to fill up the room. The room has to feel that Coach Mungati is in the house. I chose my areas for growth. It was public speaking, it was knowledge, it was in wisdom, learning. So what did I do? I had a list. I told myself, one of these days, I want to become one of the best speakers in the world, one of the best coaches in my nation, Zimbabwe, and also in Africa and in the world. I had a list at that time. I think it was 10, 15 years ago. I had a list. I made a list of the top 10 speakers in Zimbabwe. I had a list of the top 10 coaches in Zimbabwe. I had a list of the top 10 coaches in Africa. I had a list of the top 10 coaches in the world. And I studied these people, learning from the Brian Tracy's, the John C. Maxwell's, the Les Brown, the Tony Robbins, learning from those guys, how they did it, how they coached people, how they conducted their sessions, reading their books. Choose your areas for growth at a personal level in your career. Choose the areas that you desire to grow. And then the next point is create an environment for growth. Do you have a personal development plan for developing your own life? We're talking about developing Africa. How can you emerge when you're not developing yourself? You need to have what we call, when I'm coaching people, I always talk about the PDP, a personal development plan. Do you have one for yourself, for your own life? So it's just a document containing the areas that you desire to improve in your own life. A personal development plan. Number two, then number four, we are saying that as you are growing, always learn to embrace failure. Always learn to embrace failure. Do you know one of the greatest problem that we have here in Africa, and the main reason why at times we don't grow, is we laugh at people that fail. But what the person who has failed, what they have discovered is actually a way that does not work. Right. So when Thomas Edison, I think, was inventing the light bulb, I think there are so many statistics as far as, some say that he failed 999 times, and then some say he failed 9,999 times, whatever times that he failed. But in his response, Thomas Edison said that I have discovered 9,999 ways that do not work when inventing a light bulb. But the greatest problem we have in Africa is we laugh at those people that are inventing things. Then how do we grow? How do we learn from our failure? And in my own nation, Zimbabwe, we've got people who moved away from Africa and went to America. And the same invention that we laughed at here in Zimbabwe was embraced in America. It's a tragedy. It's sad. Let's embrace failure. Failure is part of the process. I always tell people about the bounce back theory, whereby for example, if it's a tennis ball, the harder you throw it on the ground, the higher it will go up. That's the same thing with failure. The harder you fail, the higher the comeback that you should come back with. It's very important that you bounce back as a point of growth. Failure is an opportunity for you to learn. And then another way to grow is value today. You can never grow without valuing today. Value today and visualize tomorrow. I think I talked about this in the very first point when we talked about vision. And then the next thing, if you desire to grow, is be comfortable with the uncomfortable. One of the key things that is stopping you from growing is you and your own comfort zone. I want someone to type this in the comment section, that I am stepping out of my comfort zone. Most of us, the thing that is limiting you is your comfort zone. You don't want to step out. So if you yourself, you are limiting yourself, how then can you take Africa to the next level? You are comfortable earning a certain amount of money and you want to impact Africa. How then can you impact Africa when you've got a limited pocket? This is why we keep blaming the government, because we don't want to stretch ourselves at a financial level. We don't want to stretch ourselves at a mindset level. We keep being comfortable, being conformed. And this is why the Bible then talks about the renewing of the mind. Because when you desire to go to a certain level, some things you have to be dropped behind. And this means that you need to step out of your comfort zone. And someone needs to write this in the comment section. I am stepping out of my comfort zone. I am stepping out of my limitation zone. Because most of us, we are our own limitations. Nothing else. There's no devil here. You and you alone are limiting you. Right? So be comfortable with the uncomfortable. Stretch yourself. Get out of the comfort zone. It's time you step out of there. You step out of there. Right? And then I want to, as I'm about to conclude, because I've got a short space of time, I want to talk about two laws of growth. Two laws of growth. So these laws were coined. One of the laws was coined by a man called Dr. John C. Maxwell. He's an amazing godfather as far as leadership is concerned. Right. So what Dr. John C. Maxwell says, what Dr. John C. Maxwell says is that, so the very first law that I want to leave you guys with, and I want you to reflect on this, is the law of consistency. So the law of consistency states this, that motivation keeps us going, but discipline keeps us growing. You know, I always tell people, and I say motivation is dangerous. And, you know, of course, us speakers, you know, when we speak, we motivate people. And at times, motivation can also act like beer at times. Why? Because, you know, as a speaker, you can inspire someone. And then tomorrow, when they want to get into action, they're like, what was that guy really saying? They're now sober now, you know. But what keeps you what this law is saying is that motivation keeps us going. It's okay, it's fine. But discipline keeps us growing. It's the law of consistency. So you need to be disciplined. And this law then goes on to say that you become really good at something consistently. You become really good at something if you do it consistently. So you are an emerging leader here in Africa. You are saying you want to become the best entrepreneur. You want to become the best speaker. You want to become the best coach. You want to become the best this. But are you working on you? Are you developing you? Are you developing your gift, your career to such a level that we cannot ignore you? What are you doing on a daily basis that is contributing to your success? How disciplined are you? You know, I always talk of the principle of showing up, where I say that showing up is being at the right place at the right time, doing the right thing with the right people. Showing up, being at the right place at the right time, doing the right thing with the right people in order for you to achieve your dream and your goal. That's what showing up is all about. You are showing up for your dream, doing the right thing for your dream, being at the right place for your dream. So are you showing up? That's what discipline is speaking about. And the condition of showing up is that you don't require a when it comes to showing up, you don't require someone to push you there. You just need to show up for your greatness. Show up, whether you like it or not. Just show up. So this law of consistency then says that if you want to be really good at something, you have to do that particular thing for 10,000 times. 10,000 times. And it saddens me a lot when I see my young generation, we are operating under what I call a here and now philosophy, which is a philosophy that I always talk about even when I'm coaching some of my clients, whereby we want things to happen here and now. Microwave success. Instantly, you start doing public speaking, and tomorrow you are like Vusi Tembekwi, you are the best in the world. No, God. If you then trace the story of Vusi Tembekwayo, you tell you that his first engagement, he was paid 35 rand, and that's approximately maybe $2. If you convert it right now, $2. Yeah, two, maybe three, something like that. You have to start from somewhere, but you have to do it consistently, 10,000 times. You know, there's also a saying that says that for you to be recognized as a master in your field, you have to have at least read 50 plus books in that particular area. So you want to be a master graphic designer, you want to become a master entrepreneur, whatever it may be. How disciplined are you in terms of showing up, in terms of doing what needs to be done in order for you to achieve your goal? Right. Yes. And then the next point is I want to talk about the law of the mirror. As you are growing, it states that the law of the mirror states that you must see value in yourself to add value to others. Right? Do you see value in yourself? We are talking about emerging as a leader in Africa. But this is the thing, you yourself, you need to see yourself as a valuable person. Yeah, man. You need to see yourself as a valuable person. And I want to ask you, how do you see yourself? How do you see yourself? That's what the law of the mirror is saying. You desire to lead. Do you see yourself as a leader? You know, there's this exercise that we always do when we are working with teams. When we are working with teams, and usually what we do in this exercise is we make leaders to close their eyes, and then we ask them this question: do you think you deserve to have this? Do you think you deserve to be a leader? And most of the time, most leaders don't raise their hands. Why? It's a question of the law of the mirror. How can you see value in others? So as an emerging leader, I want you to start telling yourself this today: I am valuable. I am the best. You know, I always tell people about the power of words. And wherever I get an opportunity to speak, whenever I'm concluding, I always end the talk with a little bit of some motivation. You know, because the very first thing that you need to grow is to grow your vocabulary, what you tell yourself, how you see yourself. And how you see yourself, this is why the Bible then says that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. What you speak is just a reflection of what's inside you. This is why at times I always tell people that some of the jokes that you are telling us might be a reflection of what you're constantly feeding in your mind. Yes. So at times I really pay very much attention. So I want you to see value in yourself. Do you value yourself as an emerging leader? That's the only way you will grow to the next level. Are you confident in you? Are you confident in your abilities? Are you confident in what you can offer the world? Because before you see value in Africa, you need to see value in yourself. You need to see value in yourself as an African. So as I conclude, and as I finish up this talk, I want to encourage someone today: grow. Keep growing yourself. Keep stretching yourself. See yourself as a champion. See yourself as an emerging leader. Leadership starts with you. I think the speaker that spoke last night, she shared on that, where she was saying that leadership starts at home, which means that you start with the leadership, not the leadership, not the opposite. No. You start with the leadership. You start with the leadership by leading yourself, by treating yourself well, by growing yourself. You know, there is this leadership law. This was not part of my notes. This is now just coming from my head. It's called the law of the lead. That says that if, as a leader, if you are for example, out of a 10, if you are a 5, you can only work with people that are at the level of 1, 2, 3, 4. The moment you have a 5 in your team or a 6 in your team, that person can become a threat to you. So you wouldn't want that to happen to you as a leader, especially here as an emerging leader. Work on yourself such that, because the more you develop yourself as a leader, the more you create room for the other people that you are leading to catch up with you. But if you don't create capacity, which means you are limiting the people that you are leading, and chances are high, if they outgrow you, it becomes a problem. So don't be outgrown by some of the people that you're following. Keep developing yourself. The more success you require, the more personal development you have to go through. So I will conclude by asking you this question. When was the last time you read a book on leadership? When was the last time you attended a course to develop yourself, to work on you? Growth is intentional. Growth starts with you. If you develop you, Africa will benefit. And today I was mostly focusing on you, the individual. That's my job as a coach. Before we talk about Africa, let's talk about you, the individual. If you grow yourself, Africa will benefit more from you. Thank you very much. Remember to tell yourself you are the best. You are a winner. You are destined for greatness. You are a success story. And Africa is ready to benefit from you. Thank you very much. This is Coach T. Mungati from Zimbabwe. It was an exciting time to be here. Over to you, our host. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Coach Morgan. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. All right,
You are
leaders,
most
if you
welcome.
have any question, you can drop your question within the chat box. Then Coach Morgan gonna answer your question, please. If you have any question, and you should learn one thing from here. Coach Morgan said that if you want to grow, you have to step out of your comfort zone. So I hope you learn that you have to step out of your comfort zone in order to grow. So we want to say thank you very much, Coach Morgan, for your powerful presentation. Thank you so much.
You are most welcome.
Okay, thank you. All right, tonight, as National Director for the Liberia chapter, I want to say thank you to everyone for attending our summit from the 16th to 18th. So I want to say thank you to everyone for your time. I know, and you are sleeping, and then you have to wake up on your bed to come and watch our live summit. So I want to say thank you. And we could have our vice president to speak tonight, but and she lost one of her relatives, so she won't be with us tonight. So I want to say thank you to everyone. Keep learning. If you want to grow, step from out of your comfort zone to grow. If you want to grow, you have to go. You have to step out if you want to grow. So, Coach Morgan, we want to say thank you. Thank you so much. So, we're going to call it a day and see you December for our next summit. God bless you and God bless Africa.
Thank you.